today I'm getting ready for my DIY in the car wash.
Yesterday there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. And now there's something in the air and a sparkly shimmer on our skin, restoring everything within. Oh, dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes, undercover agents of the other. Beyond gravel, beyond all.
That's right, you heard me correctly. I prepped for today's DIY by running my car through the car wash. And that's because I am going to be tackling a DIY that I've been putting off for a long time, and that is taking care of these foggy, cloudy headlights. I didn't want to spend several $100s to replace them before I tried to restore them myself. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. And I know this video is a little bit different than what you usually see on my channel. Usually I'm doing Dollar Tree DIYs or home decor DIYs on a budget. And so if you're not into this headlight restoration, then I will link my fall DIY playlist here, and you can head over there and check out those DIYs. But if you need to clear things up with your headlights as well, then stick around and we're going to tackle this today. So I did a lot of research to figure out what the best way to do this is. Now, there are a lot of hacks out there for things like toothpaste or baking soda or just sandpaper and just different things. And honestly, I've tried some of those. They don't really work that great unless you have just a very minor problem maybe. But I did some research and I found that this was very highly rated. It's this Sylvania Headlight Restoration Kit. I just picked it up on Amazon for about $25. I will link it below so that you can go check that out. And I'm gonna give it a try because it's almost $300 to replace my headlights. So I'd prefer not to do that. We're gonna try this first.
So my car is almost 10 years old, and as you can see, my headlights are very cloudy. And with fall coming and the days getting shorter, I want to make sure that my headlights are giving me the best visibility possible. So this is the perfect time to restore these.
So other than the headlight kit, there are a couple of other items that you will need. Those include just some clean water and a clean cloth. And I'm going to also be using just a sponge to kind of help clean up my headlights a little bit more because the car wash didn't get everything off. Also some painter's tape. And so that's really all you need to do this besides what's in the kit. So here's everything that comes in the kit. You have instructions, a couple of cloths, some surface activator, which is the step 1, some UV block clear coat, that's step 3. Then the sandpaper, that's going to be step 2, along with the clarifying compound. And it comes with a glove to use. And like I said, it has instructions and a link to a video to help you know what to do. So I'm just going to spray a little bit of water on my headlights here. I'm going to use the sponge just to make sure I get off any dirt or any bugs that got on there on my drive home. And then I'm going to dry this all off. And before I get started, I need to use some painter's tape to tape around the headlights so that I don't get my paint scratched when I'm using the sandpaper on this, which is one of the steps that I'll be doing to prep this. The kit does come with full instructions and also a link to a video that will show you how, which I have already watched. It's a really simple video and easy to follow and is an easy process. So now that I have this all taped off, I'm going to use this surface activator, and it says to spray the light until it's completely covered. I'm going to use about 1/4 of the bottle, and I can already see the bubbles are turning yellow. This is supposed to take away some of the yellow. You're going to let this sit for about 30 seconds. Once that has set for about 30 seconds, you're supposed to rinse it off completely. The next step is to sand the light, and it comes with 3 different grits of sandpaper, and this is waterproof sandpaper, and it comes with a 400 grit, a 1000 grit, and a 2000 grit. So you're going to start with the most coarse, which would be the 400, and you want to make sure your headlight is wet and that your sandpaper is wet. Here's a side note. This waterproof sandpaper is amazing for getting water stains and rings out of your toilet and on your sinks as well. This actually says to fold this in half and use 1/2 for each headlight. So I'm going to use just one side of it for this light. So I'm going to use medium pressure, and in circular motion I am just going to go over this, and I can already see it loosening some of the cloudiness, the buildup on the headlight. And this is why you want the tape on your car, because you don't want to scratch the paint. And you want to make sure this stays wet so you can add some more water to your sandpaper and to the light, because you don't want it to dry out. So if you don't feel any rough spots and you don't see any yellow spots, then sanding with the 400 grit paper is done. I'm going to add some more water. And I'm going to move on to the 1000 grit sandpaper. The instructions say to do this for about 5 minutes, but on the video they said 3 to 5 minutes, and I'm finding I don't think it takes 5 minutes. That also might depend on how bad your headlights actually are. It's feeling really smooth, and I don't see any yellow spots, so I'm going to now move on to the 2000 grit sandpaper. I think it's already looking better. So the next step is to apply the clarifying compound, and it says to do that using one of the white cloths that are in the kit. So I'm going to put about half of this package onto my towel, and I'm going to wet the headlight down again. And this is kind of like a car wax. And basically you do it just like a car wax. You apply it with firm pressure and a circular motion over the entire headlight. And it says to continue rubbing this for about 5 minutes, but again, on the video, he just said a couple of minutes, so that's probably what I'm going to do. So now, after I have done the clarifying compound, I'm going to wash it off completely and dry it thoroughly. The instructions also say it is completely normal to see the white haze still on the headlamp, so I'm not worried about that. Now I'm going to use the surface activator that we used in step 1. Again, I'm going to cover it completely, but you still want to make sure that you have enough for your other headlamp. So I'm going to cover that completely and let it sit for 30 seconds. And now I'm going to rinse it thoroughly. Now we're going to go ahead and remove this tape because it's all wet, and we are going to need to dry all around this. And I can already see that it looks so much better. I'm so excited. Then I'm going to completely dry all around the headlight. You don't want any water dripping onto it in this next step, so you want to make sure it's dry all around the headlamp. And I'm using one of my towels, and then it says to use the other white towel that is provided. So the last step is this UV block clear coat, and this is what's going to make this a nice shiny surface again. You make sure all the moisture is off of the headlight. It says to use the glove. And use this blue cloth. And I am going to put a little bit on one corner of the blue cloth. Remember, this is for both headlights, so you don't want to use it all on one. You kind of get that soaked a little bit. And you can reapply it to the cloth as needed. And you're going to go in one long, smooth, thick coat back and forth, overlapping a little bit. And reapply as necessary to your cloth to get an even coat. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. So excited. And you only want to go over this the one time. You don't want to go over it again after it's dried. You just want to go over it the one time. And look at that. Now I'm supposed to let this dry. And I actually think I could have used more because I didn't use that much, but it says not to go back over it, so I think I'm not going to. But it says let it dry for an hour before touching it, and then 4 to 6 hours for a full cure, so you don't want to drive it for probably at least 4 hours.
So here is what it looked like before. It was so cloudy, and I am amazed at the transformation. This was so easy to do, and it probably took me about an hour and a half to do both headlights.
So I am super impressed with this. For $25, it makes it look practically brand new, way better than spending $300. Like I said, the link to the kit is in the description box below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe if you want lots of Dollar Tree DIYs and DIYs on a budget, and an occasional different type of DIY as well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a blessed day.